In an already flooded Delhi, where the water had just about started to recede, the national capital was once again lashed by rains. Meanwhile, a day after the Delhi Lieutenant Governor and the Chief Minister made public declarations of working together as a team and not indulging in blame game during the crisis, the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP have stepped up the attack on each other over the flood-like situation. The Aam Aadmi Party has alleged a conspiracy against the people of Delhi and blamed the BJP government in Haryana and at the centre. The charge led to a sharp rejoinder from the BJP, which said that the Aam Aadmi Party thinks everyone is indulging in a conspiracy. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi has spoken with the Delhi LG over the flood-like situation, and even though the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP indulge in a blame game, our correspondent Vedant Agarwal gets us a glimpse of the losses suffered by the Delhiites whose shops and houses have been flooded.
Counting their losses as they begin to pick up the pieces after the devastating floods. In Delhi's iconic monastery market, totally inundated in the deluge, many, like 38-year-old Jatin Sharma, are in shock as they return to their shops after nearly a week, with water finally beginning to withdraw. The receding water sweeping away all that he built in 6 months.
रोज के 2-2 रुपए की पेमेंट कहाँ से करेंगे हम? हमारी तो फिर भी पार्किंग में मुआवजा क्या मिलेगा? एसोसिएशन का अलग है, हमारी पार्किंग में बहुत बोला भी नहीं जा रहा। 2017 में पैरालिसिस का पेशेंट हूँ मैं इस टाइम भी। फिर मैंने वो नौकरी छोड़ी है, 10 साल रिटेल में काम करके यहाँ पे काम शुरू करा। हर बार जीरो हो जाते हैं, बहुत दिक्कत है।
With the bustling market totally shut for nearly a week and their goods in complete ruins, the personal loss for each of these shopkeepers is worth lakhs of rupees.
7-8 लाख रुपए का इस जूते वाली दुकान से नुकसान हुआ। अंडर गारमेंट्स की दुकान है, उसमें भी वही मान लो 7-8 लाख रुपए का। सब माल सड़ गया, सब पे मिट्टी आगे जम गया, मिट्टी दाग लग गया। वो बिकने वाला माल तो है नहीं। ये देखिए, अभी कोई बिकेगा? ये बिकने वाला कुछ भी नहीं बिकेगा। ये पानी में पता नहीं कौन सा विषैला जानवर हो, अंदर विषैले जानवर, सांप, किसी दुकानों में सांप भी निकले हैं।
With their livelihoods hit, wage workers and labourers like Sudarshan, who lives in Delhi's Khadar area, meanwhile, struggling to put together 2 meals a day.
तो मतलब रोज कमाने खाने का काम था?
जी, डेली कमाना, डेली खाना।
तो फिर अब घर में पैसा नहीं आ पा रहा है?
नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं है, कोई पैसे नहीं है। 500-600 रुपए कमाई में क्या बचना है? क्या करेगा आदमी? क्या बचाएगा? क्या रख के रखेगा?
तो दिन के 500-600 कमाते थे पहले?
जी।
और वो बंद हो गया। कितने दिन से नई दुकान लगा पाए?
दीदी, ये मान लीजिए आप बुधवार से बंद है काम।
Agricultural labourers say, with their produce being washed away, vegetable supplies in Delhi may be hit.
अब तो फसल भी खराब हो गई आप लोगों की?
खत्म हो गया
और सामान भी सब भीग गया।
हमारा तो वो जेट कलर का खत्म हो गया, गाँव गया। आज आए हम। अच्छा, घर से सब सामान बस गया।
सब सामान बस गया।
पल्ली देता है, कोई साधन देता है रहने के लिए?
कोई साधन नहीं है रहने के लिए।
For authorities, meanwhile, the focus is now helping the poorest of the poor rebuild their lives.
That's right. Till now we have been focusing on relief, on saving lives and giving rescue to the people, giving them relief material, giving them food. But now when the water has receded, we'll try to support the people to resume their normal lives, their business activities and their normal routines. And the next step will be to rehabilitate the people who have been
many people are telling us that their goods have been completely damaged, so any sort of compensation sector will also...
I think that depends on the higher authorities. Yes. They must be thinking about that all.
Once an iconic market of the national capital is still in shambles. People here tell us that the economic losses that they've faced in the past 1 week have been huge. For them, there's still time for normalcy to return. The aftermath of the floods in Delhi will have a huge impact on the economy of these small markets and hubs of clothes, shoes and small industries. They are hugely impacted. In New Delhi with camera person Ashok Mahale, Vedant for NDTV.
Now, rain lashed several areas in Delhi on Saturday evening, causing waterlogging in some places and traffic congestion in parts which are already reeling from flood-like situation over the past few days. The national capital is facing unprecedented flooding due to the Yamuna breaching its bank after the Hatni Kund barrage in Haryana released excess water that made its way to Delhi.
Right now I'm standing near ITO. It rained heavily in Delhi in the evening, but there is no water logging in this area. But till late night yesterday, the water was till the waist. But water is not there anymore. There were pumps and officials of Delhi government, MCD, they were there to pump out water. But the situation is still grave in low-lying areas of Delhi, especially if you talk about area of Kashmiri Gate, Yamuna Vihar and Khadar area. And this rain has also caused problems for the people who are displaced, living below the flyovers in Delhi. They're also worried about their belongings, their tents and their houses are totally submerged, which will impact on our pockets as well, because most of these daily wagers used to grow vegetables and they used to sell vegetables in local markets. But now that whole vegetable farming has been swept away by river Yamuna, and we all know the rage of Yamuna. The water level is increasing, but it's still Yamuna is flowing above that danger mark. So situation will improve in few days, but after that Delhi government is planning a mass work to clean out the roads and the places which are still submerged, to clean that water as well, because that can cause several diseases as well. So they have distributed work to several ministers, as Saurabh Bharadwaj will look after East Delhi, Atishi will look after South Delhi. So Arvind Kejriwal has divided work to these ministers. And rescue operation is still on. Several teams of NDRF, they are on roads. They are evacuating people, giving them clean water to drink, because there is no electricity in low-lying areas of Delhi, specifically if we talk about the monastery area near Tees Hazari, few part of civil lines also, there is no electricity and food.
Now, a fire broke out in a building in an important area in central Delhi, which houses many offices. 10 fire engines were rushed to the spot to douse the fire. No injuries were reported. The fire started on the 9th floor of the DCM building on the Barakhamba Road, which is close to Connaught Place in Delhi. Visuals from the spot showed flames leaping out of the windows on the 9th floor and dark thick smoke billowing out of the building. Meanwhile, it's not just the north. Intense rain has caused landslides and floods in several areas of Assam, Sikkim and North Bengal, even as authorities have stepped up rescue and relief operations. Floods have affected over 67,000 people in 17 districts of Assam. The State Disaster Management Authority said that major rivers, including the Brahmaputra, are flowing above the danger level in several places. In Himachal Pradesh, Manali was badly hit by the flood fury. Now, people there are picking up pieces, but a shortage of essential commodities, especially, for instance, LPG cylinders, is proving to be a major challenge. Supply routes to Manali have been impacted because of washed away roads and landslides. Gas agencies in Manali saw massive crowds of agitating people trying to get basic amenities. Now, the Met Department on Saturday has issued an orange alert from 15 July to 17 July, predicting heavy rainfall in Himachal Pradesh in 7 districts for the next 72 hours. Some key transactional decisions were made at the Prime Minister's stopover in Abu Dhabi on Saturday. Prime Minister Modi held talks with UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, after which the central banks of India and the UAE signed two memoranda of understanding to promote the use of local currencies, first of all for transactions, which means trade being done in rupee and dirham. And the two sides also decided to link India's UPI with instant payment platform IPP of UAE. This is expected to make funds transfer fast, convenient, safe and cost effective. Meanwhile, the education ministries of the two countries and IIT Delhi also signed an MOU to establish a branch of the Premier Institute in Abu Dhabi. The Prime Minister flew to Abu Dhabi on Saturday morning for an approximately 6-hour visit after concluding his France tour.
एयरपोर्ट पर मुझसे मिल जाए आपने जो सम्मान दिया मैं समझता हूं कि इससे बड़ा अपने पद का कोई सबूत नहीं हो सकता। एक भाई का भाई से मिलना इतना सहज ये मेरे लिए हमेशा हमेशा हृदय को छूने वाला रहा है। मुझे आपसे हमेशा एक भाई की तरह प्यार मिला है। दोनों देशों की करेंसीज में ट्रेड सेटलमेंट के लिए आज किया जा रहा एग्रीमेंट हमारे मजबूत आर्थिक सहयोग और आपसी विश्वास को दर्शाता है। हम भारत के यूपीआई और यूएई के इंस्टेंट पेमेंट प्लेटफॉर्म को आपस में जोड़ने पर बनी सहमति का हृदय से बहुत स्वागत करते हैं। हमें खुशी है कि सेंट्रल बैंक के मैसेजिंग सिस्टम को भी जोड़ने के लिए काम किया जाएगा।
Now, the G20 Sherpas met in Hampi in Karnataka to work on the draft for the leaders' declaration for the Delhi summit in September. India's Sherpa Amitabh Kant expressed optimism that the final communique will be successfully presented even in the face of continued differences over Ukraine war. Pratibha Raman reports.
In Karnataka's majestic city of Hampi, India's soft diplomacy was on display as the G20 Sherpas thrashed out the final communique. But the big question, will the Delhi declaration get a unanimous go-ahead amidst the Ukraine crisis? India's G20 Sherpa, Amitabh Kant, remains optimistic about the outcome.
Well, they said this has been the most ambitious draft ever put out by any G20 country. We've had 3 days of very fruitful, very positive, very constructive interaction here.
India made considerable progress in its focus areas ranging from sustainable development goals, green growth, digital public infrastructure and more.
These issues are very relevant for the world economy. All the people and countries around the world are facing these issues very seriously. So it's very right to put on these issues on the agenda.
The plan from word go was to not let the issue of Ukraine derail India's agenda. While the sticky point has been stacked for later, the commitment for constructive action remains.
Well, there is a commitment from all sides to work constructively to prepare a text for the summit. We all recognize the importance of the New Delhi summit as an opportunity for the G20 to come together, but it's clear that we will need to find a solution to how we discuss Russia's war and the impact that it's having on people around the world through the impacts on food security and energy security. So we will work together to try and achieve that.
In a significant move, India is pushing for Africa's inclusion into the G20 and has seen no opposition so far.
We support Africa's inclusion in the G20. South Africa is already a member, a very important member of the G20, but there is also this discussion around the African Union becoming a permanent member, and France's position is that we support this idea for the G20 to be even more inclusive.
Two crucial G20 meetings of the finance ministers in Feb and foreign ministers in March saw no consensus, with Russia and China objecting to two paragraphs related to the Ukraine war. While the first draft has been discussed in detail here, further meetings will be held to revise this document before the final summit. War talks aside, development and growth have taken center stage. Now, September will have the answer to whether this strategic delay will result in a positive outcome for the world. With camera person Kumar, Pratibha Raman in Karnataka's Hampi for NDTV.
Welcome back. The Congress party held its second parliamentary strategy meeting on Saturday evening at party parliamentary chief Sonia Gandhi's residence to discuss the issues to be raised in the upcoming monsoon session of parliament. The meeting was attended by floor leaders including party president Mallikarjun Kharge. The meeting, which took place for 1.5 hours, deliberated on issues to be discussed in the upcoming parliament session, which included the unrest in Manipur and rail safety, among other topics. The Congress also ended the suspense over its stand on the centre's ordinance with regards to control over the bureaucracy in Delhi. Without naming the ordinance, the party declared that it will oppose all assaults of the Modi government on the constitutional rights and responsibilities of democratically elected state governments and local bodies both within and outside Parliament.
We will certainly demand a discussion in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, and we would like the Prime Minister to take Parliament and the country into confidence on the current situation and the challenges that the country faces in Manipur. We don't have opportunities for a discussion on Indian Railways because the rail budget has been discontinued. So we would use this opportunity in this session to raise fundamental issues of rail safety, which have taken a back seat. A third very important issue is the continued assault on the federal structure, on democratically elected state governments and local bodies.
Meanwhile, the government has extended the suspension of internet services in Manipur for another 5 days till July 20th. Now, the authorities have banned internet services across the northeast state for the first time on the 3rd of May when clashes between ethnic communities began, and it has been extended from time to time. Gautam Adani, the chairman of the Adani Group, met with the Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on the 15th to discuss the handover of the 1,600 megawatt ultra super critical Godda power plant in Jharkhand to Bangladesh. The power plant is located in the Godda district of Jharkhand and is a wholly owned subsidiary of Adani Group. The first unit of the 1,600 megawatt ultra supercritical power plant in Jharkhand began commercial operations on the 6th of April this year, and the second unit followed on June 26. Taking a very quick break now, news and updates will continue. Stay with us.